One very dirty length of pipe opened out will make me a super bling gutter for my shed. The first job on the agenda was to set a dead straight tape line along the entire length of the pipe as a guide, and then a start was made with a hacksaw cut of about 6 inches in length. And this was opened out with a piece of scrap timber. Although the process of making a short saw cut, and you really could only make a very short one of about an inch or so, and then leaving the pipe opening along the cut and then proceeding with that process was incredibly time consuming and very, very laborious. And I was getting very, very little done, very, very, very slowly. And so I decided to exploit something that I'd found as I went along, that if I levered the pipe open further than the actual saw cut, it would split along the score that was made. And so I took a metal ruler, a couple of G-clamps and a chisel, a wood chisel, and proceeded to make a score of about 12 inches in length to see if I could then open the pipe up along that score in its entirety with a wooden tool that I'd made out of a piece of oak. Making the score wasn't especially difficult. Start off carefully with one hand, draw along the metal ruler into the pipe so you make a nice fine score that you then follow, and then as the metal begins to be taken away by the edge of the blade, faster and faster and faster until it starts to kind of sink. You've got one complete line, and then put more and more force into it. And I found that within within a minute or so, that I'd reached the point where I thought the score was deep enough for the metal to rip all the way along the 12 inches that I'd made. The thing is, I had absolutely no idea if this would work or not. I mean, I couldn't find any information on anyone else ever doing it before. Cutting pipes, yeah, circumferentially, not longitudinally. And so, well, the whole thing was something of a gamble. The G-clamps were removed and the metal ruler. The tool, which had begun to form itself into a peculiar shape, perfect for the job, was inserted in the slot, and the pipe began to open up like butter. As the tool it plunges downwards and is rocked back and forth, it stretches the metal at the split. Remember, this isn't a cut where the problem wouldn't occur. It's a split, and so the metal is bound to stretch. The copper is soft. Technically, what that means is that on either side of the sheet there is now more length than there is in the middle of it. And so, if I was to hammer the corrugations flat as it stood, it would curve the tube backwards on itself. But at the end of this process, this was going to be laid on a balk of wood and hammered flat with a mallet, with more force applied to the middle of the sheet than to the edges. And so the difference in area between the middle of the sheet and its edges would be equalised, and what I'd end up with would be a nice flat sheet, the right width all the way along, and any discrepancies in one thing and another would be ironed out. Now, this way of going about things was incredibly quick compared to what I'd done before. I got through half the pipe in an hour or so, whereas before it took me 2 days to achieve the same. It's all very Robinson Crusoe, where it takes 40 days to make a shelf from a piece of wood. But ultimately, I couldn't think of another way of doing it, and this was the best. Job's a good one. What I ended up with was this wonderful length of proto guttering with wavy corrugations where the metal is stretched. So then the next job was to hammer it flat with a clean-faced rubber mallet against a baulk of wood and create a sheet 10 foot long by 4.7 inches wide, which would be the material to be reshaped for the gutter for my new shed.